Hello everyone, it's me, Valerie from Stampin' with Valerie, and it is officially 7 p.m. So here I am. I'm going to try to adjust my light over here. And I feel like I'm not getting enough light on my project. But my lamp doesn't want to cooperate with me, so maybe I won't be adjusting my light. Okay, hopefully you can see everything really good. Let me know if it's, horrible. I got another little light here attached to my phone. I'll try to get that turned on. Maybe that'll help a little bit. I don't know. Sorry, I'm not trying to move this around too much, but all right, I'm getting ready to get my screen pulled up on my iPad. Hopefully I'll be able to get everything pulled up so we can get started. But this is the fantastic project we are making today. How awesome is this? If you are a demonstrator and you are watching, you got this email from Stampin' Up this morning, their update Tuesday, and it has this fantastic look that my light is shining right off from the frame on that, but hopefully it won't show so much when it's not. Let me turn that off because that looks silly. Oh my goodness, I can't even get it to turn off. There we go. All right, trying to pull my video up here so I can see when everybody pops on. Oh my goodness, I can't believe I turned that on and off like several times before I realized it was off. Okay, so this is the project. Isn't this fantastic? It is multi-layered. I'm trying to show you a little bit of the dimension, and when I actually put it together, you'll be able to see it really well. But like I said, if you were a demonstrator, you got this picture in your email this morning. It was a much larger frame that they had theirs in. Mine is a 6x6. They probably used an 8x8, I think, or a 10x10 even. But I think it turned out just gorgeous in this 6x6. So this is how I'm going to recreate it because I had some of these available. So this is the frame I bought. I got mine from Michael's. I got them last year, so I don't know if they have this exact one anymore, but that's where I got it. And it's 6x6. And you basically, all you're going to have to do is, there's lots of bubble wrap on it, and I took all that off, of course, is just take these little stick pins out. And then you have that piece of paper. I need to get those out of my way. Just get that out of there. And then this is covered in a soft foam and fabric, but I didn't even take that off. I leave it on here. Hi, Nikki. How are you? Thanks for joining. So I'm just going to set that piece aside. Actually, I'll need to set this whole thing aside and find a place for it. I got too much stuff on my desk as usual. Oh my goodness, like I'm all over the place right now. So the colors we need to use for this project are Whisper White, Night of Navy, Old Olive, Pretty Peacock, and Real Red. And we are going to do a lot of embossing. So I brought my tray over, and I've got my Versamark, and I've got the copper Stampin' Emboss powder, because we are also going to be using wherever I set them. Oh, I have all my pieces here somewhere. Some copper foil stars that I cut out from the copper foil sheets. And of course I've divided everything up, and now that I'm live, I do not see my copper foil stars. We can't make the project without them. Where would I have put them? Anybody have any guesses? Nikki, you got any guesses where I would have set those? I literally just had everything. And I'm like, no, I'll move that. I'll move this. I'll rearrange it a little bit. I should have just left everything in one pile. I may be talking to you from across the room while I cut some copper foil stars because I really don't see them sitting here. Oh my goodness. Okay, that's what I'm gonna have to do. I'm gonna have to talk to you from across the room. Oh, maybe under the paper. Over here, I've got my other foil elements that I need. That just floors me because I literally just had them. Well, Nikki, while it's just you and me, I'm going to talk from across the room while I cut two more to make sure I have them. Now, I found them. Look, all I had to do was move over here to where my dies were. Woo! All right, so these are the Stitch Stars dies. And these are, I used the two largest, this one here, and then this one here. These dies are fantastic. These are in the holiday catalog. So you just cut the 2 of the largest in your copper foil. So that's where this copper embossing comes in, because it will look perfect with those copper foil elements. So the first thing we need to do is I'm going to stamp. I'm going to run that embossing buddy over everything, because that takes that static off from your paper, so you don't have copper foils or copper embossing powder sticking to everything. It'll stick to just where we stamp. So what I need to do is I need to stamp 5 of these small ornament and Whisper on the Whisper White and Versamark ink. And you need to be able to punch them out. And they're always a little hard to see when you're on the Whisper White until I put that embossing powder on there. And then just slide it around till they're all covered. So we've got 5 of the Whisper White. And then it is just a process of going back and putting your embossing powder back into your... Now, if I would have been smart, I would have got 2 sheets of paper, but I'm just going to keep layering. Do one at a time so you can see the entire process. Then we are going to do 5 in Night of Navy. And we'll do the same process, run that embossing buddy. Always use that embossing buddy, because if you don't, you really will get stuff everywhere. And it will stick to parts of your paper that you don't want, and then you'll... It's not so bad when you're punching something out like this, but if you're embossing like on a card front, you only want that embossing powder to go where you are embossing. Now let's see if I can do this. Get it just to run all the way down and cover all of the... I did it! To cover all those ornaments at once. Sometimes that works for me, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes I end up with embossing powder, you know, in my lab. But, you know, whatever. That's how life works, right? Crafts are not always super neat. And if I'm doing them, they really are not super neat. I'm kind of a messy Marvin. So on the Pretty Peacock paper, this is one of our in colors this year. So this is a new color this year. You're going to stamp the larger ornament that comes in that Christmas Gleaming stamp set. And they are all part of the Brightly Gleaming Suite. And what's nice about that suite is there are 2 punches that come in that. One with the large ornament, one for the small ornament. Let's see if I can do this twice in a row and get the entire ornaments covered. Yes. The more I can get back into my little jar here on the first try, the better. Hi, Chrissy. How are you? Chrissy is one of my fellow demonstrators that lives in the area. And I love that she gets a chance to get on here and watch, because she has a 6-month-old and 8-year-old. Is that how old he is, or 7, Chrissy? I can't remember how old Lucas is. So we need to stamp 2 of the holly leaves on Old Olive. And then we're going to also stamp these on Real Red. And I know that sounds a little crazy, but we need the pieces. We need the berries from the Real Red, and we need the leaves from the Old Olive one. Oh, good. I got it right, Chrissy. Yay. 8 and 6 months. Yay. Go me. All right. Then the last thing that we need to emboss is our sentiment. And we can actually, listen to my accent there. We can actually do that right on this Whisper White. And I'm going to quickly run that embossing buddy just over this corner again, since that's where I'm going to put the sentiment. Now the sentiment says, "And be jolly this season." So we're just going to run that over, or stamp it right there after we run that embossing buddy over it. I'm going to move this out of the way. I'm going to quickly put this back in there. Now, when we cut the sentiment out, we're not going to cut that entire sentiment. Now, on the photo that Stampin' Up shared with us, they use just the Jolly this season, but for mine, I used Be Jolly this season because it just made more sense to me. Maybe it's just me, maybe I'm a little weird, but that just Jolly this season just didn't quite flow for me. So we're gonna quickly heat emboss all these because why not? Sometimes you need to watch to see how this stuff melts because it's fantastic and it's so fun to watch. So let's do it. All right, I gotta turn my heat gun on. It's a little loud, but I'm just gonna talk over it because that's what I do. Have either of you used the copper embossing powder for the two that are watching right now, Chrissy and Nikki? I think Chrissy probably has. I don't know if Nikki has. Now that this is heated up, I'm gonna hold it and just go over that. And as soon as I get this one melted, I'm gonna hold it up a little closer to the camera so you can see the difference between the embossed and the non-embossed. If you can see how it just melts that embossing powder. And once your heat gun is heated up, this really does not take that long to do. It takes longer, I think, to cut your paper and stamp it and get all your embossing powder back where it needs to be than it does to melt it once your heat gun is hot. Because once it's hot, you could burn your fingers on it, so you have to be really careful. So give me a heart or a like if you know the joy of doing heat embossing with embossing powder. We'll go ahead and get this red one. And see how fast that melts? Like you can